Okay, now if you're not interested in anti-fouling on boats or keels and appendages on race boats, this is not the video for you. You can just press like and just roll on through to something else, no problem. But if you are into those things, or think you could be for 10 minutes, have a look at this. We've got the keel now pretty sanded back. We can chat a little bit about what's going on here. Obviously it looks like bronze. We don't have a bronze keel. This is a material called Keelox. At this time, I think this would probably be Keelox 700, maybe 900. I think 1100 would have been pretty cutting edge in late 90s. It's a high tensile steel, much higher than you expect from the normal kind of alloys you'll see around the workshop. And this one specifically designed to be extraordinarily stiff. Look how thin the keel is. We're only talking maybe 4.5 inches in thickness here. It's got this beautiful sweep in it, but then it's only maybe, what's that, like 24, maybe it's 48 inches to the back. Maybe it's not even that much. Maybe it's more like 36 to 40 inches. Yeah, so it's very, very slim, and it has to do this incredible job. Now, when I look at this keel, I should explain, I had an issue with my Whitbread 60s keel. You buy these boats, you buy them, and they're not extraordinarily expensive, as you can imagine, but the emphasis comes on to the new owner that you better be able to fix everything, because if you're buying it cheap, you probably don't have the kind of repair budget that the boat should have. A Kevlar boat like this, built to this standard, maybe 4 million in the day. What would that be now? I don't know, 6 or 7 million, something like that. It's the cutting edge of what materials can do, and then we are like second level of ownership, third level of ownership. We're into like fourth level of ownership with me. Now, normally that would mean skills completely decreasing to the point where the boat's being run by someone who has no idea about any of it. That's a little bit different, and this format's great so I can keep learning from you guys. But fourth, we don't know what other people have done. So let's try and do a little bit of kind of archaeology here and kind of understand what we've got. So Keelox keel bolted onto this massive lead bulb. There's 12,000 kilos, it's like 25,000, 26,000 pounds of ballast on this one, and this beautifully swept back Farr keel. Bruce Farr was a designer from the 90s, and he favored this keel type. Now everyone's gone to torpedo bulbs on the bottom of the boat. If you kind of think of this as being, you know, a full keel boat and then some kind of modified keel with skeg, and now we've gone to the point where we've got just like the front edge of the keel and then the weight at the bottom, with the idea being, of course, that you want to show as little drag from the keel going through the water as possible. I think the torpedo keels, the torpedo keels are more hydrodynamically stable, but in terms of seamanship, you want a keel like this. Don't be dragged into, I've had torpedo keels on boats, it doesn't feel any different, you know, you can't tell, and when you look over the side, like, it looks totally cool, but fishing nets, ropes, pieces of carpet in the water, all that stuff, not least hitting the bottom, all of it much better done by this type of keel than, at least it's got some relationship to the original thing. It's kind of like the leading edge of a full keel if you squint your eyes and concentrate. So I love this keel design. But deep, you know what, I don't think I actually know. There's a lot of like numbers when you buy a boat like this and you're trying to get information for it. Can I get my, I think there's a tape measure in here. Oh no, did I take it upstairs? Oh, you know what, that's just like, that's how it goes. I'm gonna have to find out while I'm here for very definitely certain how much this boat draws. What I presume is that it draws 4.5 meters like the Open 60. I just drive around all the time thinking the bottom of this boat is 4.5 meters, and then I want to see at least double that for me to be like kind of satisfied that everything's, you know, we can relax a bit. Pardon me. With this kind of keel coming out the bottom of the boat, the underside of the boat is only about 60 centimeters, maybe a couple feet down from the waterline. There's hardly anything of the boat in the water, and that's where we had the issue when they were trying to get it out. The keel here is all of it, and I've seen numbers for this boat going down as low as 3.5 meters, which seems, I think they've got themselves mixed up with the Whitbread 60. 4.5 meters, 4.25 meters, and 4 meters. So I should actually answer that question when we're here, but you can imagine immediately it's a huge lever arm to have that amount of weight at the end of this keel, and it's really focused in the bottom because there's hardly anything holding it up, right? So what we got to do today is put right what once went wrong from these other layers of ownership that the boats had. Not to say they're bad, it's just people are passing on the boat without any information. I don't even know particularly what the draft is, right? So I've gone up and done a visual inspection. What we're looking at here, this top plate has got probably 14 or 16 giant, probably 1.5 inch bolts going through here, made from something like Aquamet 22, really very strong kinds of metal here that we wouldn't normally find in everyday life. Cutting edge materials technology. They go up into the boat where they've got big nitronic bolts that go onto them, and they grip hold of that massive aluminum frame that's in the center of the boat. At the bottom of the keel down here we got the shoe, and the shoe has probably got another 8 maybe big bolts going out the bottom of it, and then on either the bottom of the bulb or some access point through the side, there's a way of getting to the nuts, and the nuts then get attached the thing to it. When the bulb here was formed, it would have been formed around a steel member of whatever material that's inside there encapsulated, and it's that bolts onto this. Obviously the lead wouldn't be able to offer any kind of strong anchor point. So the keel's looking good. On the how is it the thing protected from the ocean and the riggers? We've got bare metal here, and then if we go through a little bit kind of investigation, I have sanded back now to epoxy primer. This is all that remains of the initial primer that was put on this boat. So if anybody in the comments here, I feel like anti-fouling the bottom of the boat is a perfect way to invite middle-aged man like myself into the comments. They're like, oh, cracking knuckles, like, let me tell you a few things, mister. Well, let me tell you a few things. For the absolute professionals who trying to put the paint on here to begin with, this is the remaining contact patch, right? So as long as I do better than this, I'm doing better than professionals. I've only sanded back to this. This is epoxy. When you're doing a project like this, you need to make sure you wend your way very carefully between ideals and realities, and it's too easy to be looking at the horizon and trip over something directly in front of you. We only have X amount of money, and that means we only have X amount of time in the boatyard. The actual reason why we're in here now is for inspection of the hull, inspection of the mast, work on the top of the mast, tidy up the anti-foul. All of this is already extra, but it's worth doing. But if I continue to sand and sand and sand and sand, not least by the fact that in this yard you've got to have vacuum sanders and ground coverings. Look how clean the ground is after what I've been doing here, right? Everything's now bagged and into the dumpster. So continuing to go and go and go and go with the wind picks like this and the curtains are blowing around, absolutely ridiculous. This is chemically bonded, and anybody trying to get anything to stick to shiny metal knows you've won when that's happened. So I've gone back to that. What we can see over here is like kind of an archaeological dig down through previous paint layers, and I'll take any knowledge you've got. We can see here the shiny bit is the lead, and then the green stuff here is the filler that's underneath it. Probably it's Interfill 833, I think, goes underneath this. And then this red layer, I don't know what the red layer is, but then we go into grey white layers, which is the Interprotect. Interprotect comes in 2 different colors. It's a primer, it doesn't matter what color it is, but it gives you the ability to go one color then the other color, one color the other color, and you can follow your coverage and make sure there's no holidays, right? So, but that's it, what we got to. Then we got some kind of probably hard anti-foul by the out exterior here, and then we go into whatever crapo anti-foul this is, some cheap, like I bought the Micron CSC, oh there we go, CSC, something like that. Good lord, it's been a night of that. Well, obviously I haven't been to sleep, that's the other reason. And don't wear caps when there's things above you, we all know that, right? But so we've got the opportunity here now we've still got a little bit of mill scale on there, we've got a little bit of tarnishing and what have you here. God, there's so many planes here. So obviously we've still got a little bit of tarnishing here. We've got little bits of anti-foul stuck into the areas that So obviously we've still got little bits of mill scale on here. We've got little bits of anti-foul which are still stuck in little bits of surface corrosion pitting. Nothing's more than a couple thou deep. I'm not worried about that. It's absolutely past the visual inspection. But it means that this layer of Interprotect that's going on will not be perfect. I know that. Having seen this and seen what I need to do, I can now start to fit into my plan for the future. Okay, next haul out, what I'll probably do is remove the anti-foul from the bottom of the boat and put Interprotect and then anti-foul on. And then the next time we'll come back, we'll maybe do the bulb and get that into Interprotect. And that means this job then will be 3 years old, and for sure then it's the right time to come back and actually media blast the keel and get it perfect. Not least because it will look fantabulous. It clearly looks like it's made of gold, but we get right back to bare metal and we do a real proper job. But what's the alternative now? Waste time and not be able to leave the boatyard because I can't pay the bill, or do the best I can. It's probably going to be 75% good, and we can move on to other things and slowly step everything up. If you start to make it that you just see the entire job all the time, you start to get to a point where it's like, this job never ends. It just keeps going on and on and on, and there's a 120-foot mast over there we've got to deal with. So it's better just to say, hey, let's lift this up by a step. It might not be perfect what we're doing here, but it's the right product. It's got zinc in it. It's going to stop it from corroding any further, and we know our seams will all be sorted out, and we get our top plate sealed up and everything else. So I'm going to get on now, mix up the Interprotect and get a first coat on, and then they're going to be going on every sort of 3 hours, and we'll see if we can get 3 coats on before we finish up. And then we're straight on to anti-foul, and I guess not to stretch things out, will be some